What is up, everybody? It's Kamikaze Creep here, bringing you another episode of The Long Drive. And today, we're going to keep playing, and I want to try to get to, if I can, let's see, maybe 50 kilometers by the time I end this episode. So, we're at 13.3 right now, so I think what we're going to do is just get right on into it. So, we're right where we left off last time at this little gas station. Everything's exactly the same as I left it, except I put the broom in the back seat. Sometimes that makes the physics a little bit unhappy, but it was not wanting to stay in that basket, and I just realized that my work light also fell out of the basket, but I'm not going to worry about that too much. If it falls off and we lose it, I'm not going to be too fussed about it. Looks like I already see two buildings up ahead. We got a water tower, which I don't think we'll really need to go into, and then we've got... I don't really know what that building is, but it's like two buildings attached together with like a little bridge in the middle of them. It's usually not a whole lot of useful stuff in either of those buildings, but I guess if the road takes us in that direction, we can go have a look at them. It looks like we're going away from that. I don't really want to go too far off the road, but it may curve back around. Actually, no, I think we're going to end up passing both those buildings, and either way, I'm not too fussed about either of them. The water tower usually only has water and, like, maybe some cleaning supplies in it. And then the, I like a little double building kind of deal. Typically has, like, some mattresses, and you might find a siphon or some headlights for your vehicle, but otherwise not a whole lot. Not a whole lot out of them. So we're just going to keep driving. And hope we can find something good. I think my favorite building that's kind of it's like a diner in the game that's got a garage off next to it. Usually you get 2 or 3 cars that spawn there, and then the garage is full of paint and cleaning supplies. Sometimes even some weaponry. So I found the assault rifle, at least a magazine for it in there. That might be another one of those double buildings. There's another one off in the distance there. But so far, all the buildings that are spawning are kind of way off the road, and I don't really want to go way off the road because I don't have the best sense of direction. I tend to get lost in there pretty easily, but that's all right. But I guess again, I'm just gonna cut until we get to the next building that's pretty close to the road. So I will see you guys when we get there. Alright, it looks like we're coming up on our next building here. This appears to be a little garage. If I can see that correctly, which, yep, that's what it is. It is a garage. So what we're gonna do is hop on out and go check out what's inside of here. Sometimes there's cars right here, sometimes you get toilets, which is what we got this time. Now I'm gonna close the door and turn on the lights in here. We can find if there's anything of use. We got some sponges. We got, nope, don't want the wheel. Do want these glasses though, and put those on. Be able to see that. Ooh, and we got a hat in here. So these are the 2 cosmetic items that I've found. I don't think they really do anything, but it's kind of fun to have them. We've got, honestly, quite a lot of stuff in here. Usually these buildings are not as full as this one is. So let's see if we can find some gasoline in here, because that's really the main thing we're looking for. I'm going to take, I see at least 2 baskets, and both of those are going to be coming with us. That one's got a coolant tank in it, or a radiator, or whatever that happens to be. Alcohol, water, and blood. Got some oil in there. Got some gas and oil. Let's see what's in here. Half a liter of gas, it ain't much, but it's something at least, so it's better than getting no gas out of this. There's a turd in the corner. Got some If you're not careful, sometimes standing on these parts will they'll like just eject you and pretty much instantly kill you. I don't really know what this is. I think it's like, I don't know, a bottle of lotion or a urn or something, but I don't think we need that. We don't need the cigarettes. We could paint our car red, but I kind of like that blue. It's a very nice color. There's nothing in this engine here. Got some gray paint. And I just heard a rabbit screaming. Hopefully he stays away from us. You know, this, I'm not sure what engine this is. This may be, I feel like that's a little bit big to be the engine of my car, but I'm not sure. We can take a look, because I do remember that our engine was not in the best of condition. I'm gonna take that spray. It's got a radio. Yep. We'll see. I'm gonna try to kind of travel a little bit lighter than I usually do. Not sure what I just spilled, but I heard some water hitting the ground somewhere. Quite sure what that was. Another engine down there. I do see another container way down here if I can get a hold of that. What do we have in there? Gas. So we do want that. Gonna chuck it over there with our pile of stuff. I'm gonna try to like dig through here until it's nighttime so I can sleep through the night. Guessing it's that bucket there. Alcohol and water. Got some diesel. So more gasoline. Honestly, that diesel, I might transfer that into those jerry cans after I fill it up with gas and take that with us, because if we find a truck anytime soon, I'd like to take the truck, because I have yet to drive it. I found one before, but I haven't driven it anywhere, and that's one of the vehicles that I want to get into. What is that? Looks like a compass. Don't think we need it, but I might take it because I think this is one of them that, yeah, you can just attach it to surfaces. So I was gonna throw it over there. If I remember to grab it, I will. If not, I'm not too worried about it. Got a rifle, some alcohol, and yeah, these things make music. I think I passed one up the last episode and didn't really say what it was, but that's what they do, is they make music. Alcohol. Don't really want to get stuck down here, but sometimes stuff will come under that bed, or under the beds in here. I think, not that one. It's this barrel over here. Is the diesel. And that's one that I definitely wouldn't mind keeping hold of. Another thing is, when you drive the truck, it doesn't take the same wheels as the cars do. You need these, like these big tires here, and there's one of the bigger rims there. Let's see, any rabbits around here? I heard one scream a minute ago, but I haven't seen any of them. Let's see if we can't get up here onto the roof. Sometimes stuff spawns up here, and it looks like we've got a radiator up here. One of those bars. I don't see anything up there. So I think for the night we're gonna sleep on the roof, because when it gets dark, it gets really dark in this game. So I'm gonna have a little bit of a sleep. Anyway. Anybody that's watching this, how are you guys doing? How was your day? You know, I just got off work. Wasn't a terrible day, but you know, anytime you've got a job that you have to go to and gruel for hours at a time is never really never that fun. You know, I was there all day today, and then coming home to record. There's not a whole lot of gas in here, but I'm never gonna tell or say no to gas. Oh, don't drink the gas. Fill the gas up. And you'll probably see me do that a lot, where I accidentally drink something that I'm trying to fill up. Don't necessarily mean to do that, but sometimes it just happens. It's a easy mistake to make. Close that up. I think those were all the jerry cans that had gas in them. Let's see, I'm gonna take our barrel of diesel. I think that one's a smaller container. I don't think it holds as much. So I'm probably gonna take these bigger jerry cans and fill them up with the diesel. If I can. And hope that there's no rabbit sneaking up on me, listening for the scream. It's always kind of scary when you've got these big barrels of stuff, and it takes a little bit longer to fill everything up when you're filling, you know, I think there's 40 liters of diesel in here. So it's kind of scary because you can't tell sometimes if a rabbit's coming. Sometimes they'll scream way before they get over to you, and then sometimes they don't scream until they're right up on you. So I see a rabbit down there. So far that's the only one I see, and he seems to be running in place off in the distance. How much more do we have? So there's 11 more liters in here. And so I'm going to take this other jerry can here. Open that guy up. And try to fill this up without spilling it. And again, hope that there's no rabbits coming, but at least I know I've only got 11 liters to fill up. I know this is the way I'm going to die. I've yet to die from a rabbit. I've died from crashing before. And I've died from, you know, kind of janky physics happening. But I've yet to have a rabbit sneak up on me and attack me. I'm going to try to keep it that way, but sometimes they're a little sneakier than you would think. Sometimes they come out of nowhere. And they'll take you out. I wanted to check that engine. I don't... Actually, maybe that is the engine for our car. So I should be able to pop that guy out. Grab this guy. No, actually, no. I think this is the bus engine now that I'm thinking about it, because that is quite a bit bigger. I think we've got one of the better engines in the game in our car right now, but it's just not in the best of condition. So I wanted to check that before I leave this building. And maybe we'll find a better one sometime. See if we can't polish any of this up anymore, like our wheels. I think we should be able to make these a little bit shinier. Yeah. Same with the hubcaps. So we got one nice shiny wheel. Pop that off of there. Shine that guy up. Put you back on there. Guess we could put our engine back in our car. And close the hood. So our work light finally decided to fall off the car, so I should be able to drop that back in there. Is that in the basket? No, I missed the basket. Yeah, sometimes I have a little bit of a hard time judging where my hand is. But that's okay. Just here to play the game, try to have a good time. I'm not the best at it, and I'm really not the best at any video game. Never really had the time to play games all that much. I think that wheel is as shiny as it gets. Same with the hubcap. So I think this one's good. Maybe the hubcap could have some work. I'm not sure. It's kind of hard to tell in the shade like that, but may be able to get our bumper looking a little better. Or it might need a brush. It seems like it's a little bit, worse for wear. What I could do though is take this spray, and I should be able to spray that. Maybe not. Maybe I can't spray that. Anything inside the car. Radio looks good. I mean, inside of the car actually doesn't look too bad. And I know you used to be able to fix the engines by spraying them, but I don't think you can do that anymore. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. So I'm gonna chuck that. And sorry if I'm taking too long at these, some of these buildings. I'm not really sure what the best way to record this is, because every time I play it, I kind of sit down and play this game for a few hours at a time. So, and I'm not really one to record, I mean, I know the episode I uploaded yesterday was, I don't know, 40-some minutes long. It's like, I don't really mean to do that on purpose, but this game's one of those games that's really easy to, you know, completely lose track of time while you're playing it. I've done that time after time now. Every time I start playing it, I end up playing it for hours. So, let's see if I can't stick that guy in here as well. Yeah, not the best, but it works. Any rabbits sneaking up on us anywhere? Man, I keep throwing this basket. Yeah, sometimes if you turn your camera too fast, you'll just chuck whatever you're holding at the floor. See if I can't move. Didn't really need to take this note with us, but I wanted to throw it in there anyway, just to have it. Attach. No. That should work. I think that's about everything we wanted out of here. I don't remember seeing anything else useful. Maybe some oil. I'm not going to put it in a basket, but I'll just, I don't know, chuck it in the passenger seat. And if we crash and lose it, I'm not too worried about it. So turn that on, parking brake off, and we're going to keep going. Off to our next building. And there's a rabbit fairly close there. And sometimes in this game, as stuff renders in, especially when you get a bigger building render in that's got a lot of stuff, it will just absolutely tank your frames. So if you go from having, you know, 70, 80 frames to 20 or 30 for no reason, that's usually a building generating within your render distance. So, but that may have been what happened on the last episode, where I had to cut and restart the game and kind of maneuver that broom. But I seem to have gotten everything sorted out. That's a rock off in the distance. I thought that was a building at first, but got my hopes up for nothing. So again, I'm gonna cut until we get to our next building, and I will see you guys when we're there. Alright guys, a few minutes later, it appears we're coming up next to a boat. I know it's a little bit off the road, but these boats are usually pretty good to go to if you're looking for gas. So I would think by going over here, I should be able to completely fill up my gas tank. I don't know, if you saw on the time lapse there, I was going past the top of my speedometer, so I was going pretty quick down the road. I think the opening might be on the other side of this one. But also, my engine kind of faltered for a bit. I don't know if it was overheating, but it did make a funky noise. Yeah, that's for the opening. So these ships are always just full of barrels. Sometimes you'll find a barrel that is enough gasoline to fill up your tank, and then sometimes you're not as lucky with them. Look out for rabbits before we go running in there. I don't think I see any, and I think I may have also seen another building on the road over there. It's like just a bus stop, so I don't even know if we're gonna go over there. But we're gonna look through these barrels and see if we can't find any gasoline. And some oil. That's one of the mixed ones. Kind of, if I see anything that's just immediately 3 or 4 different things, I don't even mess with it. Like, you can use the siphon to kind of maneuver them and separate all of those fluids, but I don't think it's really worth it. The time you would spend to get all of those. I heard that rabbit and I thought I saw it up there. I'll have to look at that on the while I'm editing this and see if that was actually a rabbit right there. But oh, takes care of that guy. Maybe I did see him up there, and I also saw a barrel of gasoline. I think that was this one. This will honestly be enough to, this honestly should be enough to fill up our tank. So, hope there's no rabbits nearby. Oh yeah, that's plenty to fill up the gas tank, so we won't really need to worry about gas for a while. So I'm just gonna start filling that up. Keep an ear out for rabbits. It's also starting to get dark, which is a little bit scary, but I think we'll be fine. So I'm just gonna fill up our gas tank, and I'll probably speed through this because it's gonna take a little bit. So I'll be right back with you when this is done filling up. Alright guys, so our gas tank is full, so I'm going to hop in the car and close the door, and can't sleep yet. Let's see if there it is. I don't know why it wouldn't let me sleep for a minute. I know it doesn't let you sleep if you're in third person. When I was not in third person, I should have been able to sleep there, but oh well. And the reason I like to drive in third person in this game, especially when you're on the road, is it makes it a whole lot easier to see if there's a rock on the road that you gotta watch out for. So there's a truck trailer up here. Unfortunately, that's not the truck. Like, you can attach this trailer to your car and run it, but you would either have to put your car on those big tires or the trailer on little tires. And then, let's see, there's some BBs in there. And I read something the other day that I want to check real quick. I was told that there's always, at the bus stops, supposed to be a siphon in the trash can, but I don't know that I see a siphon in there. So I may have been a little bit incorrect because I don't see it in there at all. Anyway, I'm gonna hop back in the car and just keep going. Like I do like driving in first person, but when it comes to looking down the road ahead of you, sometimes it's, the rocks don't spawn into the last second, so you've got a little bit better of a chance of seeing them come in when you're driving in third person, as opposed to first person inside the car. But we're gonna keep driving, try to hit 50 kilometers. We're at 35.3 right now. We got a full tank of gas, so things are starting to look up for us. Just keep going down the road looking for our next building. So I will see you guys on when we get there. Well, we did have a little bit of an accident there, but I think we're okay. I don't know that we really lost anything out of that. I still have the broom back there. Got our oil. That rock, kind of what I was saying, sometimes it's hard to see them and they kind of pop out of there at the last second, but it looks like we got lucky with that one. We didn't lose any mirrors, didn't lose any hubcaps. Everything's still in our car. So, just carry on in. I do see a building up ahead, so I'm not even going to cut now. Looks like a little bunker. These guys typically don't have too much, but this is a place that I've had the best luck finding assault rifles. They must always have weapons in them. We've got a shell of a car on the road here. I think that's probably my favorite looking car in the game, but it's definitely not my favorite to drive. The car we're in right now actually is my favorite car in the game, and I absolutely love this like baby blue color that we got with it. Let's check out what's in here. Got a half liter of oil. Let's see if there's anything back here. It's another work light. And kind of, after you play the game a little bit, you start to learn where certain items spawn. There's water, usually in the taps in here, and up on the roof. Let's see if there's anything good. So we got a sword, some oil, and another one of those little music guys. I see you, rabbit. Go away. I'm definitely not the best shot either. Never really been one for shooting games. More just a casual, like to drive around. Come on now. I definitely could have probably picked up one of the rifles at the garage we went to. May have been in better condition, but we did get that guy knocked out. It looks like one of the bigger gas stations over there. There's another building off over there in the distance. If the road happens to go that direction, we might stop at that gas station there. Sometimes there's good stuff there. So what we're gonna do, hop in the car. We're at 38 kilometers, so let's just keep on moving. Hopefully the road takes us pretty close to that gas station. That's probably be my second favorite building in terms of finding vehicles, because I think I've seen 3 or 4 cars spawn at one of those gas stations at one time. So I kind of know the general area of the road. So I'm gonna head over there to that building. Looks like there's a well over here in the desert as well, I think is what that is. That rock came out of nowhere. just head over here and see what it's got to offer, if anything. Looks like we got 2 cars over here. Got a couple of station wagons. Got a barrel full of nothing. Not surprised. Got some oil. See, these buildings are pretty good too, because they'll have usually good tires. We got another basket. Always love finding baskets. Got some green paint. We could make our car green. See, and sometimes stuff spawns up here, but it's kind of risky to get to them because these boards can all move, and if they fall on you, will not hesitate to kill you. There's nothing in that barrel. So this box here is actually bullets for the revolver. So that's something that we probably want to take with us. So I think I've got a couple of revolvers, and I wouldn't mind having a couple of bullets for it as well. And again, sometimes these buildings will absolutely tank your frame rate, and that seems to be what's happening up here right now. It's not terrible, but it's not ideal either. I'd much rather have, I don't know, 20-30 more frames than I'm getting right now. Part of that could be that I'm recording. Part of that is, actually, is that the same engine that's in our car? I have a real hard time telling the differences of the engines in this game. I think that's the same engine I picked up last time, because I'm looking at this little thing that's sticking off the side of it there. And don't think it's quite the same. That radiator is absolutely busted. Right here. See, both of these engines are in pretty good condition. Water in the fuel tank, and then nothing in that fuel tank. Wondering, we could probably throw that engine in here, but I think the engine we've got already is a little bit quicker. I see you, Rabbit. I think this might be the fastest car in the game. I'm not 100% sure on that, but it's definitely my favorite to drive. I think it's the most controlled, and I feel like, at least in third-person view, the way I usually drive, I feel like I'm going a lot faster. I see the road over there. Got our 2 baskets on the roof. Really, the main reason I'm collecting these baskets is if I find a truck, which I'm really hoping for at some point, is I would like to fill the back of it up with baskets. And I think there are 3 different kinds of trucks in the game. So that trailer we saw earlier, there's a truck that has the same back as that trailer, like an enclosed truck. Then there is a flatbed truck, and there is a like fluid canister truck, like a oil tanker. That's a rock over there. Every once in a while, like one of the bigger rocks like that will render in, and it kind of, off the corner of your eye, looks like it's or looks like one of the buildings rendering in. And I tell you what, right now I'm getting about 40 frames, which is not great. So again, the deal with this game's in pretty early access. It's a small development team, so don't know. It could be the game, it could be me recording, or maybe my computer's just not having a good day. Yeah, any one of those things, but I'm gonna cut. I see a couple buildings down there, but it's gonna take a little bit to drive to them. I don't want you guys to have to watch it at 40 frames right now, so gonna fast forward that, and hopefully the time lapse will look better than it does in real time. Alright, so we are 45.5 kilometers into our 5,000 kilometer journey. We did find another gas station here, which I think this is, if I remember correctly, yeah, this is a little two-stroke engine. So you gotta like mix it. I think it's 3% oil, 97% gas. And again, my frame rate is not doing too hot right now, so I'm gonna hop up here on the roof and give it a quick little restart. I'll be right back with you. Alright, and we are back. I don't know if it's really that much better. Getting a little bit better frame rate than I was, but honestly not too much. And usually once my my frames start throwing a fit like this is when I decide to call the episode. I want to try to push through those last 5 kilometers if I can. Let's see. And you can, if you find stuff like these bullets, like I think this box holds 12, and the one I picked up had maybe 3, and the other one had 11. You can hit R on it and just like refill your box. So now we've got a full box of bullets for that gun that we can put in there. And we're gonna run over to this little building here. Oh no! Oh no! Come on, rabbit. Usually if you put something between yourself and a rabbit, they'll get stuck on it because they've got very simple pathfinding and have a tendency to kill themselves just like that. You know, I was trying to shoot that rabbit and my gun was not wanting to fire, which is very scary. Like in a situation like that, you would hope that your gun would be working, right? Let's see what I got in here. There's more bullets for that revolver, which I'm probably gonna take. I might just ditch this rifle and just start using the revolver because at this point I've got tons of ammunition for it. Not tons, but you know, 30 some shots, which is better than my single shot BB gun. So I'm gonna run back over here to my car. Hope there's no rabbits in the way. I think for now I'm just gonna drop this on the ground and have a little bit of a sleep so that I can get the revolver out. Oh, I saw a rabbit running over there, which is pretty close to where my car is. So I'm gonna pick this guy up. See if that guy's still over here. Because I really don't want to get in any more arguments with rabbits than I have to. Okay, seems to be running the opposite direction. I'm gonna go back in here and see if I can't find a brush. I know I saw some sponges in here. I was hoping I would find a brush to see if I can't get some of the rust off of this, but maybe I don't need a brush. Maybe that's why I couldn't get it off in the first episode. Because maybe this one just needs a polish. So we'll give it a little scrub real quick and see if that does anything. Which I'm not quite sure how the particles work on this, because like I know sometimes you get particles and it actually changes something. Jeez, there are a lot of rabbits around here. You know, I think at this point, this gun ought to be good enough. Ought to do the trick, and I'm just gonna keep heading down the road. Just stick the basket up there. You know, we'll figure those out at some point in time. When I was trying to set this, set the gun down in the glove box, and since I had it equipped, it was not having it. So I'm gonna try to do the same thing here now and see if I can't throw it in there. Just have to make sure to grab that at the next building we stop at. Ooh, kind of ran into that rabbit there. And we are at 45.5 kilometers still, so got about 5 more kilometers, and then I will start editing this video and schedule for it to upload in the morning. So I feel like it's been a pretty decent day so far. Got some baskets, cleaned up our wheels a little bit, and definitely let me try that again. Definitely, guys, let me know how you feel about me, you know, fast forwarding through the driving, or if you'd like me to just leave this a little bit like more raw and uncut. I just don't really like the idea of throwing out a, you know, hour 20, hour 30-minute video. I don't really get the views right now anyway for that to make a whole lot of sense, but I do really enjoy playing this game, and I'm hoping that I may be able to help reach a little bit of a broader audience with it, because I don't upload too often, but I'm going to try to be fairly consistent with this game. At least the days, so at my job, I have 3 different, I guess, shifts that I work on a rotating schedule. And one of those is a closing shift, and that's when I prefer to start recording, is when I get home after a closing shift, because I feel a lot more productive at night. I'm not much of one that can just get up in the morning and just get stuff done all day. You know, the past 2 years I've worked closing shifts there until I just got a promotion in July, and I've been, you know, working. I'm just pushing. I'm hoping to eventually move up in the company a little bit more, but as of right now, still not quite used to any of the morning or mid shifts. So when it comes to the closing shift, those are going to be the days that I'm really going to be recording after work. Maybe some of my days off, but I'm usually pretty busy, you know. I'm working well over 40 hours a week, let's say usually well over 40 hours. Sometimes I get pretty close to, but I think there's 3 other people that work the same position as me, and we manage about, let's see, I think we've got maybe 45, 50 employees under us, and we all have the same job profile basically, and none of the other ones really put in the same amount of work as I do. Not that that's a bad thing. I'm the newest guy up there, so I'm trying to prove myself a little bit more. Everybody else has been up there for a while, and I've only been up there for a couple months now. We are at 52 kilometers. I'm gonna try to get to the next building, by the way. But anyway, I feel like I overwork myself sometimes, you know. There's checks that I've got 110, 115, even 100, just about 120 hours on them. And considering that I'm still in college and I'm only 20 years old, I feel like I might be working myself a little bit too hard sometimes. But that's okay. I'd like to think I've got a pretty good work ethic. You know, I'm not one to call in when I don't feel like working. Still go in and push through it. And I've always been like that. But really, I'm just trying to make a living. You know, live by myself, pay all my bills. So I've gotta put in the work to be able to pay all my bills. And I see a watchtower up there. I'm just gonna drive past that. It's not really a good place to stop. I see we're possibly coming up into some grass, which is pretty exciting because I think there's 3 biomes in this game. There is, you know, the desert that we've been driving in the whole time. You can see the grass over there, like the Greenland, which is probably my favorite. And then once you hit a certain elevation, there is it gets snowy. And I know when the snow came out was in like the winter update, and the road was all snowy. Looks like we might be coming up on a different type of road here, which is like the smoother, nicer road, which you typically find this more in the grassland. So I would think we're coming up on the edge of the desert here fairly shortly. Don't know if we're gonna see that in this episode or if that'll be in the next episode. But do see, looks like a building over there. Can't tell if the road goes that direction, but hopefully it does, and I can end the episode here. Yeah, it looks like the road goes straight through that. And that building is pretty neat, because a lot of times if it renders on the road, it renders across the road, so you end up, the little bridge goes across the road. But you also have to be careful, because a lot of times buses will spawn in these buildings, and it happens to spawn right there in the middle of it. I'm not sure if there's going to be one on it this time. It doesn't look like it. But yeah, sometimes if you don't stop at these and you're just flying through, a bus will spawn right above it, and it'll fall right in front of you, and ends up not being a great time. So I guess before I end the episode, I'll go through this building, because I don't think I've stopped at one of these for the recording yet. Let me see if I can't. Oop. Get in there. See if I can't grab this this revolver. Better safe than sorry. And it looks like, yeah, so probably towards the beginning of the next episode we should be hopefully hitting the grassland, which is pretty exciting. I do really enjoy the grass in this game. So there's a water spout over here, looks like a license plate on the floor, a sun visor, and a seat for a car that we don't have. So those seats go in the like the station wagons. Honestly, these buildings never really have too much. Looks like another license plate and another seat up there. We got some brown paint. We've got another hat. We've got a hat on already. Got some orange paint, which is actually a color I don't see very often. So I might take this one with us. See if I can make it in a basket. Just about. But I hear a rabbit. Oh, Jesus. He is not happy. I don't think I want to be down here right this second. He may have killed himself. Nope, nope. Dead now. Tell you what, those rabbits, those screams are pretty scary sometimes. Like, sometimes they'll come out of nowhere and you get that scream right behind you in your headphones. And I tell you what, that is not something that I would want to experience in real life. If I had a scream like that from behind me, I would probably ruin my pants, you know, in that instance. And sometimes in this game, they'll really catch me by surprise. Uh-oh. That's not quite what I was wanting to do. See if I can make my way. No, I'm gonna have to climb all the way up those ladders again. It's not that big of a deal. I think I did see a basket up there that I wanted to grab. I also saw an arm. Which I know is kind of a weird thing to get excited about, but I believe you can attach those, like that compass that I saw earlier that I completely forgot to take with me. And also, if you ever go up here, always make sure to check these. You can walk up these like a ladder, and Every once in a while we'll get something good up here. Like this time we get a magazine. Which I don't think I want that, so I'm just gonna chuck it off into the desert. So there's a rabbit over there. We've got a basket here. Let's see, and I'm gonna see if I can't get back down there and get that basket. I think there's an arm right here under us. Kinda, oh no, it's a foot. So the arm's not as fun. The foot's not as fun as the arm. You can use it as a weapon. I don't know if you can attach the foot like you can the arms, but you can use the arms kind of as like you can attach them like you can the baskets. And I think it's pretty fun. You can make some pretty funny outcomes with it. Don't know if I want to kill that rabbit or not. Gonna get that over with while I can, because do I still have my glasses on? I think I've got the heart glasses. I'd rather have the heart glasses than the aviators. Let's see if you can attach these. Oh, it looks like you can. Yeah, so maybe I'm gonna just start collecting limbs and attaching them to my vehicle. I want you right there. Jeez, that rabbit. It kind of scared me for a minute. I knew there was a dead rabbit there, but I also at the same time didn't really think about it. And I walked over and it popped up and I thought that was a rabbit jumping in my face trying to attack me. I'm glad it wasn't, because I'm not trying to die this early on in the game. Jeez, you see how fast that rabbit's going over there? Sorry, some of those rabbits go faster than the cars do. But anyway, I think I'm going to call that the episode today, so with the sun visor out of my way. Get a good look at me in the mirror. Got my heart glasses, my cowboy hat, as ScapeGoat would call it. I love cowboy. Anyway, let me know how you thought about this episode. Should be another one out pretty soon. Hopefully the next day or two after this comes out. Anyway, be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think about the hold on a second. Turn it on. Let me know what you think about the time lapse or the driving, or if you'd want me to leave it unedited. If I do that, I'm probably gonna go shorter distances, because I'm already over an hour into recording this, and I'm gonna try to cut it down to about 45 minutes if I can. At least by hoping that the time lapses will cut it down that much. But anyway, I will see you in the next episode, and until then, peace.